Okay, doing this in the last video made people really like it, so picture this. This is you. If you're not a female, you're a female now. You are a young girl that lives with your brother, mother, and father in a nice house and neighborhood. You have a good pile of friends, an amazing relationship with your father and mother, a kind brother, and an overall happy life. As of now, everything is great. Until it isn't. Your father passes away, and soon after he passes, your life starts to drive downhill. Your mother gets a new boyfriend who steals your room and forces you to sleep in an unused garage. She becomes aggressive with you for no reason. He keeps you locked in the garage at times. And the only one who you can really rely on is your brother and friends. Life is hard, and it looks like it's only getting worse from here. But fortunately, this tale doesn't have a bad ending. As far as I know, as of the Bob update, the final update has not dropped yet, and I'm praying this game has a good ending. You start to build your life back up with the help of your sibling and best friends. You defeat your fear and depression, overcoming its gripping hold on you and your life. You find a purpose, a goal, and even a bit of a love interest as well. You feel like everything's connecting again for the first time in a long while, and there's only one last thing to fix. Your relationship with your mom. This is the wonder behind Prank Your Mom. Yeah, you might be wondering, hey gamer, why is the Get a Snack at 4 AM game considered a psychological based game? Well, you stupid head, I basically gave you the answer in the intro. This game is deep, deeper than any casual Get a Snack at 4 AM experience would even be. I would know, I used to be big in the Get a Snack at 4 AM fandom. Cashier time, cashier game, cashier experience, I've seen every single one of those games. This game not only expands itself out of the Get a Snack at 4 AM category enough to be a spiritual successor, but it also expands itself out big enough to be considered a psychological based game. The game hits you with shot after shot of depressing lore to the point where you can't even tell if what you're playing is truly just another Get a Snack at 4 AM game. This game is truly a masterpiece, and I'm here to explain why. Oh, and little extra note before we start, I was originally going to add this game onto a list of my top psychological-based games and make a video on that list, but I realized it would be too long about this game, so here I am giving it its own video, as it deserves. Let's just get right into it, because I'm really excited to talk about this game. I'll be talking in categories, not really, so I can really dig into each point of this game that I love. Oh, and obvious spoilers as well. If you're not played Prank Your Mom, then exit the premises immediately. Go play the game. It is amazing, and I recommend you go into it blind. It's long, but it's definitely worth the wait. Let's start off with the main reason I even made this video. The storyline. This game, from the very first ending you get, makes itself known as being a game that isn't going to be very lighthearted. It does have a lot of lighthearted, goofy, and heartwarming moments to it, like the ending part of the ending you just saw, but a majority of this game dwells into serious topics such as child neglect, parental loss, toxic environments, toxic parent-child relationships, and a lot more that I have yet to discuss. Heck, this game even dives into the fear of being LGBTQ+. It's so insane, from an implied homophobic religious parent to having a situationship turn relationship with another girl. This game is crazy. For a game that's supposed to just be a spiritual successor of a Get a Snack at 4 AM game. One of the topics this game delves into makes it all the more interesting to cover. This game has so much content, and in that content, it tells the story of the 5 stages of grief. At least, that's just through one POV. Yep, you heard me right. There is 2 POVs to the story. Even if you can argue that one POV is a lot more important than the other, both of them have a significant story to tell. The reason this game is extremely long and ungodly hard to 100%, this game doesn't use just the POV of Libby, it uses the POV of her brother, Max, as well. We get to see how both of these siblings deal with the grief of losing their father, with one of them being in a much bigger deal of pain than the other. Let's not forget that just because one is suffering more, that does not discard the fact that both of them are suffering. Both of them are children that are trying to get past the death of their father and their abusive mother. While we're on the topic of storyline, let's just jump right into the characters. Let's focus on Libby first, considering she knows a lot more about her father's death and her mom's ex than Max, along with the fact she is the one that suffers a lot more than Max. In this household, Max was neglected a vastly different way than Libby. He was neglected in the manner that he never found a way to cope with his emotions. He was forgotten, tossed aside, and seen as just there rather than an actual person. But with Libby, she got the recognition. But it wasn't good recognition. She was constantly berated and verbally abused for the simple act of existing wrong. It didn't make it any better the fact that her stepdad was also a bitch. This dude, William, didn't even question the fact that a child was sleeping in a garage when he first came, and I doubt he cared about Libby the time he was around. He also acts weird around her. I'm not talking like he's an asshole around her and shoves her around, even though he does. I'm talking like weird. Like something's really up with this guy. I might just be overthinking about this evil ass rich guy, but he's definitely got something up. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's like a pedophile or anything, since that's most likely confirmed and not true, but he does act really suspicious when it comes to talking about Libby's mother, implying he has some sort of hold on her considering he's the owner of the company she works at. Overall, asshole. I hate him. But that's also why I love the guy as well. He's a good villain. I hate him, and that's good. I feel like a villain shouldn't be loved unless they're going to redeem themselves or some other reason. Also, like to mention the fact that the mother can be nice too. Being an asshole to her child is in fact a choice and not an unconscious decision. This was seen mainly in the Ultrasonic ending when Max first entered her workspace. This is also seen when William first comes to meet Libby at the door. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned the character Fear yet. Yup. Fear is what I'd like to consider the depression entity manifestation of this game. We are first introduced to Fear the first time we play as Max instead of Libby. Fear shows itself differently for the two siblings. For Max, fear is prominent, yes, but it's not as extreme as it is with Libby. This is mainly because I feel like Libby is closer to the verge of suicide or some heavy mental breakdown rather than Max. Fear identifies itself as something that makes people end themselves, so this is why I think this. Libby might possibly be in a more emotionally vulnerable spot than Max is, therefore making her more vulnerable to Fear's powers. Fear is dangerous and is not afraid to show that it is, but thankfully, our protagonists seem to overcome fear and get past it together. Who to bring up next? Oh yeah! Our friends! The gay nerd and the nerd's gayer bully! Charlie and Ellie! Let's start with Charles here. He is a nerd! Like, look at this guy and tell me he wouldn't sound like the nerd emoji. Charlie, as much of a meanie he is actually a very interesting character. I assume he's a closeted queer from the dialogue he have with Max. Mind you, Charlie and Max are best friends, but during the story, they do have a temporary friend breakup because of Charlie's attitude towards Libby. Libby and Charlie have some history that I won't spoil since it's a good ending read, but the two used to be good friends. Charlie's an asshole, but he has his reasons why, and it's what makes him so interesting. It's flawed, like any other human being, and in the end, he's still there for his friends, even if he dislikes it. Ellie, Charlie's old bully, and also Libby's girlfriend! Yeah! Looks like Max is the only one in the family that can pull an absolute baddie by doing literally nothing but existing. I don't really know much about Ellie's character besides the fact that if she's mad at you, you did something wrong. But she's pretty cool. Her interactions with Libby and the others are really sweet, and her relationship with Libby and how it develops is actually very realistic, and I love how it's written. At first, Libby fails to reply to Ellie's spam messaging after a kiss incident in the bathroom, and then the two slowly talk to each other again and slowly get to know each other more and more. It's really sweet, and it's like seeing two people actually fall in love. Now for unemployed versus employed, Bella and Gary, our other friends. The literal cat human is a sweet girl that's been friends with Libby and Max for the longest time. There was a moment when Libby didn't want Bella dating Max because she was afraid she'd be forgotten, but in the United ending, that fear is eventually overwritten. So, Bella and Max are dating, and it's really cute. They're such a nice couple that probably eats cat foods on their dates. Bella is also an interesting character to me though. I know I've said that for a majority of the characters in this game, but it's true. Every little character is so interesting in lore. On the outside, it may seem like Bella has a nice home life and family, but via sleepover dialogue, we figure out that there's more to it than meets the eye. I recommend seeing it for yourself, but I do love how the game writes Bella. She's a cutesy comedic relief character that ends up having some sad lore. Enough talk about the characters, let's talk about the actual gameplay. The game is just like your average get a snack at 4 a.m. fan game. You find endings, interact with characters, and explore until you happen to find everything. But a thing I like about this game is that it feels more involved than a lot of get a snack at 4 a.m. type games. There's boss fights, minigames, cutscenes that give more depth to the characters, and even whole stealth scenes. All in a game about pranking your mom, mind you. The game involves you into its world building and storyline, even if the dev doesn't mean to be this involving, and it's honestly really cool. There's also a lot of visual details too that really tie into the whole experience. Overall, I'd say this game is a real treat. It's charming, it's got amazing art in it, it's got enjoyable and relatable characters, mechanics, a heartbreaking story, a good cast of villains, not to mention gay people and their issues! Yay! Well, that's not the most important aspect, but it's still nice. Oh, and best of all, it has good mental health rep for victims of parental abuse, which is what makes this game such a wonder and hidden gem to play on the Roblox platform. Thank you all for watching. Short upload, but I really just wanted to take a moment to yap about this game. Bye bye!